The smart Baton Rouge business traveler travels out of Baton Rouge. Why? It's about not having to wake up hours earlier, fight traffic, and stand in long lines. It's also about BTR being closer, more convenient, with non-stops and short hops to anywhere your business takes you. Smart. So for your business, if it's about being one step ahead and not dead on your feet, then it's about time you flew BTR. Baton Rouge Metro Airport. It's about time.
This is Inside the Jaguar Nation, presented by Russell Law Firm.
Welcome to Inside Jaguar Nation. I'm Aaron Lee, joined by Ashley Lyotis tonight, and we have another amazing show for you. And of course, it's always amazing when we can lead with football. Isn't that right, Ashley?
Yeah, that's fun. I know. We like to get a little taste of football in here. Pro Day on the Bluff was a success. Let's look at how some former Jags performed in front of the NFL scouts this past week. All right, several Jags competed in front of scouts this past Wednesday. Danny Johnson, of course, who we'll talk about later, former defensive end Aaron Tiller, former tight end Dylan Beard, and many, many others. Aaron Tiller posted a high 29 reps on the bench, and he did pretty well in the individual drills. Here's Aaron speaking about his day.
My performance was good. You know, I met some of the numbers I had set out to get. I knew my conditioning was going to be a little off just because coming from different climates, but I feel like I worked out good. I could have did better catching some of the balls, but overall, I had a good performance. That was all right. I really wanted more than 30, but it was cool. You know, they started counting late because I wasn't locking out, so I got something taken from it, but I could have had more. But I felt like it was a good showing out.
And big man on campus, Danny Johnson, was on hand, just like Ashley said, and he only participated in a few drills. The vertical jump, the short and long shuffle, and a few individual drills. With all that, he had the NFL Network there following him for the day, tracking his draft process. But Danny was satisfied with his performance overall, and he's ready for the draft April 26th. Here's Danny on his Pro Day performance.
Today I feel like I did well. I showed that I was in shape and continue to go through all the drills, and I just feel like even though I didn't do like a lot of stuff that the other guys did since I did it at the combine, I feel like they did good as well. Just kind of blocking it out, just know what I was here for. I was here for position drills and to do the L and the shuttle, so I just was here to just make sure I improve on anything that they wanted to see me do and just show that I could still catch the balls and do everything that I showed on film. Yeah, I'm satisfied. I just showed that I can, at 5 down, I can still jump and get up there. So I'm proud of those numbers and I'm happy with them.
All right, so Aaron, you were at Pro Day and you saw it all. Tell me about some of the guys who may not be known on the big scale, but performed pretty well for the Jags this season.
Yeah, Ashley, there are a lot of guys out there trying to impress scouts. Most of them were just looking for a chance, hoping to get a chance, hoping to get an invite to a camp. Kentavious Preston, Jamar Mitchell, Tevin Horton. But the one guy who's on the radar who had a big day was Dylan Beard. Big tight end, former tight end for the Jaguars. Dylan Beard looked locked in this past Wednesday. He went first on the bench to get it out the way. His measurements, he measured out to 6'2", but in the individual drills is where he impressed the scouts and they started talking about him. He looked good in a short and long shuffle, and he had a quick 40 time for his size. For me, Dylan seemed to lead off every drill and was in front of all the instructions, which is always good, and it shows leadership and attentiveness. It was like a job interview for him, a business meeting. I liked his demeanor and his attitude. He had his whole family out there, and he was just ready to impress, hoping to get that shot. Most scouts compared him to former tight end Delaney Walker as far as his size. And here's Dylan talking about his day.
This morning, I just woke up, man. I said my prayers. You know, I just put it in God's hand. You know, when I came out here, you know, I felt a little slow when I first got out. But like as we started doing the drill, you know, my momentum and my adrenaline started pumping. So you know, I started feeling good, and I feel like I had a good day today. My body feeling good. Yeah, I'm satisfied with my broad and my bench. You know, I wanted my vertical to be a little higher, but you know, it's all right. Going, you know, thinking positive, man. It's just not being weary. You know, just give it to God and let Him do His work.
Give it to God, God's hands, God's plans. But hey, we always bring you the smooth sounds of the human jukebox. And time for a break, but later in the show, hey, I know we're talking a lot of football, but we'll hit the diamond and look at how the Jaguars did this past weekend.
Yeah, I love that he had his whole family out there, Aaron. But coming up next, we hear from head coach Dawson Odoms about how his guys did there at Pro Day. We'll be right back with more Inside the Jaguar Nation.
You're watching Inside the Jaguar Nation, presented by Russell Law Firm, with Brian Holland, Morgan Beard, Ashley Lyotis, and Aaron Lee.
Welcome back to Inside the Jaguar Nation. I'm Aaron Lee with Ashley Lyotis, and with Pro Day happening this past week, you know head coach Dawson Odoms was there looking his guys on.
Oh yeah, you know he was there with a hand to show on support for his former players and root them on as they worked out in front of those NFL scouts. We had to catch up with him afterwards, and Coach is this week's Performer of the Week.
This is why they come to Southern. I'm really grateful for the opportunity to see so many scouts out taking part in Pro Day and really giving our guys who work hard. You know, you don't know how many phone calls we receive saying, you know, can other guys come and be a part of our Pro Day? But, you know, this Pro Day is for our guys that are dedicating themselves to this program, and I'm just grateful that we had some guys that they may be interested in. So I was proud to see those seniors get a chance to work out today. Well, I mean, I really thought they were in shape, and that's the biggest thing. Give yourself an opportunity. The best thing is have a platform for you to shine. A little windy today, but at the end of the day, you got a chance to run a 40 in front of scouts. You got a chance to catch some balls. You got a chance to get worked out by some scouts. It don't take all 32, it takes one. And hopefully one of those 32 teams give our guys an opportunity. And I really believe if they get an opportunity, they got a chance to make a football team. But you put the work in. And you always talk about the window of opportunity, so that window is very small. But you have today to showcase your talents. So make this the best day possible. And I really thought guys came out and had the work ethic to be able to showcase their talent today.
All right, we heard Coach Odoms talk about his guys getting a chance and kind of making the most of that opportunity. Aaron, you just talked about tight end Dylan Beard, but there's another guy who's turning some heads.
That's right, Ashley. That guy is Aaron Tiller. Now, he played in the NFAPA Bowl, and he had a good showing this past weekend. He's been working out from state to state, but he's a sleeper in the eyes of some people. So we bring in our very own Brian Holland to tell us, can he play in the NFL? Brian, what do you think?
Yeah, Aaron and Ashley, thanks for having me back here on the show. The short answer, the real answer, Aaron Tiller is not a shoo-in for making an NFL roster day one of a training camp. But here's the good news. That's how it's been for him his entire career. He knows nothing else at Southern other than that. He told me a couple of months ago, by the way, we came in here as freshmen and we came out of here taking those roadblocks with us, taking those roadblocks out the door. That's really the kind of mentality this kid has had the entire time he's been there on the Bluff. And really, that's what Southern Jaguars in the future will have to deal with. And that's what they've dealt with in the past. Remember, Leonard Tillery just a year ago had to dismantle some of those just preconceived notions about some of the smaller schools going up to the highest level, the National Football League. And I think, thankfully, in the past couple of years, some of those roadblocks, as Aaron Tiller would call them, are being broken down by guys that you see, the guy that I just mentioned, Leonard Tillery, because you're seeing the talent in the Southwestern Athletics Conference be able to compete at that highest level. Talk about a Chad Williams from Grambling, talk about a Danny Johnson, talk about a Leonard Tillery there from Southern. We all know the things that are the personal knocks against Aaron as far as when he gets between the lines on a football field. And they're going to tell him he's too small and he's not fast enough. I think some of his 40 times came in around the 4.6 level, so that should help him from the Southern Pro Day. He has to show that he's willing to play anywhere that they put him on the field, no matter what team he goes to, and that he can get to the quarterback as well as contribute on special teams. And I think special teams really is kind of that key there for Aaron. That's exactly what Aaron Tiller is. He's a football player. He won't make any excuses. He'll bring his hard hat to work. The odds are stacked against him, and the scouts will tell him straight up he won't be able to make it. But at the end of the day, 40 times in combines, they don't make a football player, and I'm not betting against the football player that is Aaron Tiller.
Thanks, Brian. I like that. He has a chip on his shoulder, but you know who doesn't have a chip on their shoulder? The #1 band in the country, the Human Jukebox, as they always brings us their sweet sounds. Time for a break. The Lady Jaguars faced off with a SWAC opponent, and we'll tell you how they did in the weekend series.
And up next, from Pro Day to spring practice, we'll give you an update on how the team is competing in spring ball. We'll be right back.
This is Inside the Jaguar Nation, presented by Russell Law Firm.
Welcome back to Inside the Jaguar Nation. As we do every week, Aaron Lee lets us know what's going on around campus for the Jags. Aaron, what do you got?
Hey, thanks, Ashley. Look, let's turn to baseball. This Wednesday, April 11th, they'll face off with New Orleans at home at 6 p.m. and then they go on a road to Texas Southern Friday, April 13th at 5 p.m., Saturday, April 14th at 2 p.m., and then Sunday, April 15th at 1 p.m. Now let's move on to softball as they have some midweek games. Tuesday, April 10th against Southern Miss and Hattiesburg at 6 p.m., and then Wednesday, April 11th, they're at South Alabama at 5 p.m. And then for the weekend, Friday, April 13th, it's Jackson State at home at Louisiana Patriot Park at 3 p.m. Saturday, April 14th, again versus Jackson State at home at 1 p.m. And then they round that out, the doubleheader, Saturday, April 14th at 3 p.m. Now let's move on to some track and field. This Friday, April 13th, Southeastern Louisiana, they'll be facing off in that meet in Hammond, and that time is still to be announced. And now let's move on to tennis to round out this calendar. Friday, they are at Xavier in New Orleans at 3 p.m.
So guess what we have next, Aaron? More football. Can you believe it? Yeah.
More football?
With Pro Day on Wednesday, it's back to work all week as the Jags are in week 2 of spring ball. Saturday was another practice in their first scrimmage.
That's right, Ashley, and the more the better. It was a cold spring football practice with Danny Johnson and Aaron Tiller on hand to look on the new team and the new offense. As usual, Coach Odoms is fired up, but it was the defense who won the day, forcing a lot of turnovers, which is good to see. Jordan Eastling was the defensive player of the day. Coach Odom says he had 2 fumble recoveries, and one of them was returned for a TD. For the offense, quarterback Bubba McDaniels had a solid day. He threw for a TD in the air, and he also ran for another one. However, the Jaguars are having some of the same problems they did last year, which was penalties.
Anytime the refs come out for the first time, you can expect it to be a certain way, and it's because things go get called that you do not see in practice. So that's why you see a lot of schools use them all the time because, it's hard for us as coaches to coach and watch penalties. So that's why it's important to have those refs. That's why you want spring ball so you can eliminate some things, so we'll clean them up, we'll point them out on film, and we'll get better come next week.
All right, but we always bring you out with the sounds of the human jukebox. Coming up later in the show, a Jaguar baseball player makes the Sports Center top 10. Oh yeah, you don't want to miss this.
That's right, Ashley. And sticking with baseball, we talk Jaguar baseball, and we'll tell you how they did when we return with more Inside the Jaguar Nation.
This is Inside the Jaguar Nation, presented by Russell Law Firm.
Welcome back to Inside the Jaguar Nation. I'm Ashley Liotis alongside Aaron Lee. And Aaron, we've talked enough about football.
Yes, we did.
So let's talk about America's favorite pastime.
Yes, Ashley, I agree. And I think they're ready to see how the Jaguars competed in the almighty SWAC this past weekend. So let's get right to those highlights. And it was SWAC play over on the Bluff as Arkansas Pine Bluff is in town. Bottom of the first, Tyler Laporte on second, but it's first baseman John Pope that grounds out, but a bad throw the first, and the Jaguars would score early in this one and go up 1. The Jaguars would add some more runs, a man on second and third, and Michael Wright at the plate. He singles and clears the bases, drives both runs in. Now, actually, this one was a wild finish in the end. It was a battle all the way to the end. The final in this one, Arkansas Pine Bluff, 8-7. Now let's look at Game 2. There was no Game 2, canceled due to weather. Had some crazy rain this weekend, and also Game 3, which was scheduled for today, was canceled as well. Those games will not be rescheduled, and the next game is this Wednesday versus New Orleans.
All right, and the Lady Jags also taking on a SWAC opponent at Louisiana Patriots Park, the Prairie View Panthers. Panthers already up 2-0 when Kiara Settles blasts a home run to left. Yeah, the Jags cut the lead to 1. And then Elizabeth Donaldson, she's going to take a homer to center Actually, this one going to center field. The Jags going to tie it up for game 2. Then extra innings is where it's at. Kelsey Coronado, you just saw there from Prairie View, would hit a single and drive in the game-winning run. Jags lose a close one, 3-2. Game 2 of that doubleheader actually ended up being changed from Saturday to Friday. The final of that one, Prairie View 8, Southern 7. And then game 3 of the series finale was canceled on Saturday, also due to weather. The Lady Jags will leave for Southern Miss this week. We always wish them the best of luck.
Yeah, good luck to them, Ashley. We got to get them to watch the show a little bit more. They say they be sleep on, Sundays, so we got to get them to watch the show. But we're always watching the human jukebox that's always bringing us those sweet sounds. All right, it's time for a break, and coming up next, we have a Jaguar center fielder that made a spectacular play. We'll tell you how he did it when we return.
This is Inside the Jaguar Nation, presented by Russell Law Firm.
Welcome back to Inside the Jaguar Nation. I'm Ashley Laotis alongside Aaron Lee, and it's almost time to go, but we have to show you something before we do an amazing play.
Hey, Ashley, don't spoil it. They might change the channel, so let's set this up. Hey, this past week the Jaguars took on Mississippi State in Starkville, but the Jaguars made it to the big stage when 5'9" junior center fielder Javian Williams made a great catch all the way at the wall. It was number 2 this past Wednesday night on SportsCenter Top 10. Look at it in slow motion. He was a little dizzy at the end. He really didn't know where he was at. Congrats to him for that national exposure. What else you got for us, Ashley?
Wow, good stuff there. It seemed like yesterday when the basketball season started for the Lady Jags, but the season never stops. Head coach Sandy Pugh is out recruiting, and recently the Jags announced that the women's summer camp will be June 15th to 16th. The Jags also looking to repeat as regular season champs, and this time finish it off with a SWAC title.
That's right, that's right. Hold on. Ashley, let's look at that play again.
Let's take one more quick look at it.
Gotta look at it. SportsCenter Top 10. Javavian Williams. Shots out to the man.
Good stuff right there. Nice catch. That's well-deserved SportsCenter Top 10 right there.
All right, that's all we have for you this week. For Aaron Lee, Ashley Laotis, Brian Holland, and Morgan Beard, we'll see you next week.